wonder how come the good mixes always have to be like an hour. Oh yeah, I guess the world will never know. The world will never fucking know. All right. What we do? All right. What is today? The 21st? The 21st. What's up, Rasta, man? How goes it, man? Been enjoying looking through your book. I'm glad you like it. I'm making another one. I'm making several, but they're going to be Patreon exclusives. I'm making another book full of nothing but fan art sketches that people ask me to do, because I don't like to do fan art, and I don't, what I'm saying, like, but people ask you to do it, you got to do it. So I've been doing some pretty good ones that I've actually liked, and I kind of want to share the process of what I do before I do the fan art sketches. Then I'm doing one of my original characters, which that one's going to be in the works for a little bit. And then the final one, still kind of up in the air about it, but it's going to be kind of tattoo based. I still don't know how I want to go about it, but it's basically going to be called From Pin to Skin, where it's basically just going to be like from my drawings to the tattoo process. But that's going to have like videos and all that shit linked to it. Oh, did you? How the fuck did I not see that? What the fuck? I didn't even get no Discord message. Did you post it today? I didn't get it. That's crazy. When did you post it? Hold on. I gotta check. My Discord's not open, but I have it on my iPad and I check it constantly. I don't get that many Discord messages. Let me open it. Like last week? Really? Well, hold on a second, because I didn't get the message. Where did you post it at? Did you post it in the Share My Art section? Let me see. Hold on. I sent it to your DMs. I don't have any DM messages. Bruh. No, I don't have any DMs from you. Is it Discord DMs? I do not have any direct messages from you. Yep, I don't have any. Yep, I'm in it right now, and I do not have any Discord messages. Ah, wait, I found it. It never alerted me. I don't know how. Word. Yeah, I didn't get him. I didn't get an alert of this at all. I had no idea. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. I appreciate the support. I really do. I really do, man. Like, that shit makes me feel good, because I don't really. When I made the book, I didn't know what to expect from it, and it actually did way better than I expected it to do. Like, tons better. And I don't really I'm not actually planning on making a book now. I'm just kind of like, I'm going to do it. Hey, Zelda Queen, 109 months. How you doing, girl? Speaking of support, 109 freaking months. How goes it? Starting to cool off in Vegas, so you know what time it is. You know what time it is. But I've been itching to tattoo too. How's work been? Hopefully good. See, that's dope, Rasa, man. Thanks for the support, man. Thanks for shouting me out too. I appreciate it. If I were to do another book, like just like kind of like that, like what would be something that you'd be interested in? Like I don't know what people like. I'm definitely not doing anime, so like I don't know what people want from books and stuff like that. What do you mean it's going? What's going on? Oh shit, it's Saturday. You should be off work, right? Work's been all right, busy as hell. Football is getting started. I know football season is back. My team is getting their ass whooped. Kind of sad. But yeah, I just been sketching. Working on, like I've been working on a lot of the shit that people been asking me for. I've been not trying to take it so seriously because I think I do better when I don't really think about it too much. You know, and you don't realize just how much you've learned till you start making pictures, and then you're like, hey, shit, like like things that you used to struggle on, you don't really struggle on anymore. You know? Oh, that's cool because now we off on the same days. Oh, I'm working on that. I'm not drawing you a Princess Ruto. I'm drawing you a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time piece to replace the one I drew before, because I believe that the one that I drew before at the time was what I could do, but I am better now, so I'm going to do one that's kind of like rivaling the one I just did or better. What was the one I just did at? It's around here somewhere. This one. Whatever I do has to be better than this one. And I love this piece. This is probably the best Zelda piece I've ever drawn. But I have to do better. Ocarina of Time will be easy because I know the story pretty well. I love Link to the Past, but I didn't really remember a lot of the bosses and enemies and stuff, so I had to go back and like watch a video and all that shit. And I'm like, how the fuck? This was my favorite games. How do I not know all this stuff about it? But the image came out pretty good, so I'm like it. But the Ocarina of Time style is more. It's gonna be easier to do because it's not so. The style that it's done in, I can't really do because it's fucking CGI, so I can kind of just wing it. The only thing I've been practicing on is getting more interested in realistic portraits. I post practice tattoos and fake skin on Discord as well. See, here's the thing with portraits. I've told people this a million times. Don't go on the internet and get portraits that everybody else has put up, which I already know people are going to do. So I always say this, but I already know what people are going to do. Get a camera and learn to take your own portraits. Now, I know you can't do that with like stars and stuff like that, but the whole reason why you want to learn to take your own portraits is to understand what makes a good portrait and understand what makes the best shot. Because if you get a good portrait, it's easier to trace and turn into a tattoo because the hues and the values pop more. You're playing Ocarina of Time right now. I don't have that pic. No one has this pic except for the internet and Discord. And Patreon. It's a Patreon piece. Yeah, no one has this. Which you actually should be able to get it because you're a mod in my Discord, so you should be able to go into the subsection and get it. But yeah, I'm posting a lot of stuff like this in Patreon because it's going to be in my book whenever that gets finished. I figured out a name I'm going to call the book and all that. So all I got to do now is make art. I'm not putting a rush on it. Like, it'll be done when it gets done. So awesome. But of course, people will see the art and wonder. But yeah, as far as like the portraits and stuff like that, do try to understand portraits a lot better and try to understand gradients. Gradients will make you 10 times better at portraits than anything. Hopefully, well, I'm pretty sure you know what gradients are, but a lot of people do portraits and they don't understand how to do gradients, and their portraits look rough. And that roughness causes them to like get kind of jaded on doing realism, like because realism has very little to no lines. So because you're doing something with very little to no lines, the last thing you want to do is mess up on your blending, your color blending, and your shading and stuff like that. It's something for you to think about. But yeah, I've been working on tattoo designs offline. But I mean, that's just not normal. But like, I talk to my son, and every time I talk to my son, he fuels my rage and makes me want to draw more tattoos. So it's a good thing, I guess. Yeah, don't ever use lines in a portrait. Definitely not around the lips, and definitely not around the teeth, in anywhere near the teeth. You want to use as like little to no lines. No lines is preferable, but you know, again, there are people that can do portraits using fine lines, but a lot of people don't understand the technique of doing fine line, and they always make their lines too dark. You know, and then when it heals, the lines don't smooth out like they should. Like I only use I use a number 1 liner when I do lines, and you have to have a very quick or a very steady hand, or you're gonna fuck some shit up. But you know. But for me, I'm always kind of like, if everybody does something a certain way, I want to know why they do it that way, or I'm going to try to find a way that works better for me. And that worked a lot, and that helped me out with a lot of stuff, because I had a lot of issues with tattooing when I first started doing things the way that people said it was supposed to be done. Just, of course, the mistake that most artists make is that people tell you what you should be doing, and you do it, and then it doesn't work, or they tell you, or they don't tell you anything, or they tell you what to do and you don't listen. So it can go either way. I'm just happy to be at a point now where I'm pretty good at knowing what works for me. Oh, I finally got ZBrush for the iPad finally came out. I know a lot of you guys probably don't give a shit about it because you're not doing 3D modeling, but that is huge for me, because I knew that when it came out on the iPad, it would work like, well, it'd be intuitive with the iPad, because the iPad utilizes their touchscreen, which means that they would fix the issue that I had with drawing on the tablet. My tablet is touchscreen, but the mechanics don't work the same. But on the iPad, it's fucking intuitive. So now all I got to do is learn how all the shit works. I'm about to be doing some 3D modeling, buddy. Rasta, I know god dang well you got Twitch Prime. Why haven't you subbed yet? So that you don't get hit by ads every time we're in the middle of a good conversation. But no, I wasn't really saying. I was just talking about portraits, like doing portraits, and the shit that me learning, me finding out what worked for me as far as like the portrait thing goes, and like one of the biggest things that I realized was that a lot of times what'll happen is someone will tell you something and you won't listen to it, right? Or the exact opposite, they tell you something, you listen to it, and it doesn't work for you. So you gotta like, but I was telling you how I was like happy that I'm at a point now where I can figure out what works for me. Like I know what things will work, and that's when I was like, oh, wait a minute, I got ZBrush, and that shit is going to be phenomenal. So I'm gonna segue into doing 3D modeling, but like I said, I'm probably not gonna do that on stream, just simply because like, learning anything on stream is not good. I don't recommend it to anybody that's just learning new, because what ends up happening is everybody that's on stream that you're probably going to want to learn from is a lot more advanced than you, and they can't give you beginner information, which is what you need. You need beginner's information because you got to be able to back off and restart your brain when it comes to certain things. At least that's how it worked for me. Kitty, what up, man? 110 months, you and Zelda Queen fighting for the power in the channel, and I appreciate all the love, man. I appreciate the continued support, as always. You know what I mean? You know, you the man. So I had talked, like I said, I had talked about this before, but I'm working on a few different projects for books, but one of which is one of the things that I keep starting, and I've always kept starting, and I never freaking finished, was the 100. Anybody that's been here long enough knows what the 100 is. And everybody here knows that I've never actually finished the 100, like ever. I've done it, I've tried it several times, never finished the project. Well, this time I'm gonna finish it, but it's going to be in book form. And I'm gonna make a shit ton of prints to go along with it. Mostly the print thing is for Kitty. I owe Kitty a shit ton of prints. Like, not that he requested them, but like I feel like the prints that he has should be better, because he's been supporting me for so long, and I told him that once I got to be a certain like level that I would fix the stuff that I did, because I didn't like it. And now I feel like I can do really good work. The coloring, I don't really still don't like the color, but you know what? Like, I'm gonna just have to bite the bullet and just do it. I don't really like coloring. I can color. It just takes time, but you know. But yeah, I'm working on the book. The book is gonna be called The 100. It's gonna be 100. It's gonna be, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be doing like volumes, because I have a lot of things that I want to draw, that I want to get out of the way so I don't have to draw them anymore in between me learning 3D modeling. So I know you guys have seen, if you've been watching on my Instagram, all the recent fan art shit. Well, I'm going back through all my old 100 drawings, and I'm redrawing them better. And then I'm going to finish, because I never did a whole 100. I only did 50, and I stopped. Well, I'm going to do the 50 over again, better, and then I'm going to do the other 50. Since I can draw faster, it's not a problem. And then I'm going to take the ones that I like the most, and I'm going to have them colored, or I'm going to color them. those are the ones I'm going to turn into prints. I have a dope ass printer now. I have the packing I'm going to use to send it out so that when I mail them to people, they won't get damaged. Because that's the other thing, is like mailing shit to people. I'm tired of shit being mailed to people and it get bent and stuff like that. But you know, I have like tubes or whatever. So like for the regular people that I send the prints to, they're gonna get 8.5 by 11 prints. They're not that big. They're not that hard to protect. But for Kitty and the people that are on Kitty's level, which is very few, they will get 13 by 19 prints, which are really, really big. You know, which requires a different form of protection.
Oh, you guys made me eat.
Who? What? Oh, snap! And Kitty with the gifted sub. Now Rasa don't have to miss anything. See what I mean? And this is why I do the things I do for Kitty. If you, since you're here, Kitty, is there are there certain superheroes? Because I know you have a lot of statues that you would like to see done, like specifically for your collection. I mean, not like, even if it's something I've done before, something you would like to see me redo and stuff like that. Because I told people to request, but you know, like, I think a lot of the people that are requesting, they're requesting like anime stuff and shit like that. What I'm doing right now, the book is going to contain a lot more than just superhero stuff. It's just going to be more like heroes and villains of all sorts. It's going to be heroes, villains from all types of media, but like the prints and stuff that I'm doing specifically for you are superheroes from comics. So since you're here and I get a chance to catch you here, are there any ones specific that you would like me to redo or do again for your collection? If not, no biggie. I mean, I'll just wing it. But if so, drop me a line. I think the book is going to contain like test sheets. So like, this is a test sheet, my new way I do my test sheets and stuff, which is basically like just a shit ton of random sketches. And then like I take the ones I like and I turn them into art. Like the other test sheets used to be just poses. If I was drawing Batman, I would draw a shit ton of Batman poses. Okay, so I already got Batman. I already got several versions of Batman, and I think I just drew another one. I'm not really set on which one I want to do. I did this one, but I did it way more detailed. But I did Batman. We got Spider-Man already. We got Wolverine. And we got Hulk, but I think I'm going to redo the Hulk for more of an action pose, because we did Hulk a while ago and I liked it, but I think I'm going to do more of a more recent style where I'll probably get all three Hulks in it, like I did the Spider-Man. You saw the Spider-Man one. I know you saw that one. If not, we have Spider-Man. See, where are we at? Spidey. So we have Spider-Man. I'm probably going to put something in the background like buildings or something like that, but Spider-Man. Wolverine. Well, we have Wolverine and Deadpool, but we also have Wolverine by himself. Batman, like, again, I'm working on this Batman, but I want to catch Batman in a pose that feels right for me. We did this one, but we also did this one. I don't know what I did. Oh, I moved it to here. This one. But none of these poses feel like print worthy. You know what I mean? I like the drawings, but I'm like, I like the drawing, I like the action, but this feels like a pose that you would do if you had more superheroes in it. not just one superhero. So, not sure I'm going to settle with that one. But we do have that one. But that's kind of what I'm running into. Yeah, you mean the one the one I liked. The one we did a long time ago. But I think I can do better. But I still love that Hulk. So this is the original 100. And I have to go through and redraw all of these characters. Well, all the ones I want to redraw. This is going to be a bitch to do because fuck Iron Man. I did a Catwoman, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go with it. But this is, I love this Hulk so much. But I've come a long way since then. So I think I can do something better. And I think I want to have all three of them in it. I did Joker and Harley Quinn already. I did Spider-Man. I was working on Venom and I stopped because I want to get it. Again, it's like a lot of poses I didn't really like. Like this, like the Spider-Gwen pose, didn't like it. I like the Apocalypse one, but I draw better now. I can make him look the way he's supposed to look. Looking back on some of these guys, I was not where I needed to be in the drawings. So I am now. Like the Arkham Knight. Like I could do that so much better now. Clayface. Like a lot of these poses, I was just kind of like Deadpool. The Deadpool I just did was way better. Like the Deadpool, I love this one. This is way better than this. But again, it's been a while. It's been like four or 5 years ago. Like my Wolverine is way better. Again, everybody's seen the glow up for Doctor Doom. But again, this is why I'm redoing a lot of stuff. I was thinking about that. You know, I didn't know if people really would care to see the original ones. Like I was gonna put it in the book in the back so people could see the original 100 and what they look like. Well, the original, because I only did 50 of them, but I want people to see just how much my art has changed since the beginning. Like, look at this. You don't really think about this kind of shit until you actually go back. I'm doing a Poison Ivy one, but the Poison Ivy is probably going to be like a little not safe for work. I don't know why whenever I draw Poison Ivy, I always want to make her naked with like vines everywhere. Because I just don't see a plant controlling woman. Like, I don't know why. I always tend to draw her like basically naked with plants everywhere. So, but I mean, I got a more vivid imagination now since I drew the waifu book. So, you know, but just looking at it, shit changed. Like the way I draw shit changed so much. The coloring, my homeboy did the coloring and he nailed it. And I came back in and I added highlights to it because his was more dark and I wanted everything to pop. So I basically added like the shine to it, but he killed it with the background effects and stuff like that. But that was what I was trying to do. I was trying to get other people to color it so I didn't have to. But if I have to, it doesn't matter. I can color it. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm working on right now. As far as stuff offline, so this is one concept for Catwoman. I have a couple concepts, but I know it has something to do with her being like on top of jewelry and money and stuff like that, or cracking a safe or something, you know. But what I'm not doing is like hyper focusing on stuff. I'm gonna draw a concept, see if it sticks. If not, I'm gonna come back to it later when it does stick. But because there's a lot of characters that I could draw, you know, and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna do this, the one thing I'm not gonna do is burn myself out like I did last time trying to make myself do it. A lot of it is really easy to do, and I make it harder on myself. by forcing myself to do shit that I don't have to do. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. So I'm not really sure what I want to. I know what this is going to be, but I'm probably going to draw several poses for this guy. Anybody that knows this guy should probably know by his hat who he is. He's definitely an iconic figure. But I don't think he wears glasses. I think I got the one that wears glasses mixed up with him. Oh well. But yeah, Kitty, that's actually a good idea. I should probably include the originals somewhere so people can see, because I know people loved seeing the when I did the waifu book. People loved seeing where I started and where it ended up, and I didn't even realize that I had did that good. Like I had improved that much. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm just BSing today. I haven't streamed in a while because I'm doing a lot of offline stuff. 3D modeling, watching a lot of 3D model tutorials. And now I just had to switch and shift because I went from doing like learning 3D modeling on the computer to switching and learning 3D modeling on the iPad, which is kind of funny. But I will say this much: I am enjoying the iPad version very much so. So I'm gonna do. I know I'm gonna do one of Edward Nygma. I want to do the Penguin. Because the Penguin's kind of relevant right now with the TV show, but I don't like the TV show Penguin. Never did. Don't think I ever will. But I did start drawing a Penguin one, and I didn't actually like finish messing with it. But yeah, basically what I've been doing is just kind of like rough sketching everything out, and then coming back later and deciding if I'm going to finish it. You know, I don't put a lot of effort into like trying to finish it the same day anymore. Like I go until if I finish it in the same day, great. If not, I'll work on it later and stuff like that. With a female, I'm not drawing the female version of the Penguin. Come on, man. watched the new Batman, right? And the female penguin just don't hit the same. You know what I mean? She's too tall. That is my gripe with that penguin. Like, penguin is short, stumpy penguin. So even if they're gonna make it female or make, you know, the penguin female, she should be short. I mean, that, like, other than that, I don't give a fuck. Gender bend all you want. You know what I mean? Make her fucking short, like a penguin. What is with all these fucking tall penguins? Like, penguin is short and stumpy, like a penguin. But I mean, you know, to each their own. People might like that. I'm gonna draw the penguin I like. You know, and my penguin's gonna be Oswald Cobblepot. I'll let the newer generation handle the newer generation penguin. I'm gonna go ahead and tackle my generation. Well, that's the thing, is the reason why there's a reason why he's called the penguin. Like, there's a reason. Like, there's a lot to do with, it's a lot to do with the way he looks. But again, it just, shit is meant to be changed. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of characters have become great from change. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily I'm not the last voice of what should and shouldn't be. But if I'm drawing it, yeah, buddy, you best believe I'm drawing the one that I'm familiar with. You're not gonna catch me drawing Beast Wars, because that's not the real Transformers. I still haven't seen Transformers 1, but I think I'm gonna wait for it to come out on on demand. A lot of the reason why I think I'm gonna wait for it to come out on demand is because I know good and goddamn well when it comes out, I'm gonna probably try to draw it. And fucking last time I drew Optimus Prime, that shit was not. I had fun drawing it, but like in hindsight, looking at it, I'm like, that did not go off the way I wanted it to. I could definitely do a better Optimus Prime. What, bro? You know what? I had a discussion with somebody at my job the other day about fucking Static Shock, and oh, I got triggered. One of my friends at work was like, I loved Static Shock, and man, look. Man, look. All right. Can we normalize being realistic about garbage? Can we normalize that? That made me more upset than it should have been, because he was like, I loved it. And I was like, that shit was, again, he grew up on it. And I know a lot of people feel different ways about Static Shock because they grew up on it than I do. Because I'm like, I didn't grow up on it, but I remember watching it because I have kids and thinking like, this cartoon has so much potential, but this particular one is fucking trash. I really think they could have done a better job. And I was thinking and hoping that someone along the way would have given him like a nice glow up. Nope. Not at all. I redrew him in the way that I thought he should be, but, you know, I ain't nobody. What was wrong with Static Shock? Where do I begin? Like, basically, Static Shock was... The cartoon was racist as fuck to start with. You know what I mean? Like, but again, I think that was the premise of it, was supposed to be like, you know, the struggle. I think that was what the creator was going for. Plus, he dressed in... Remember, his old costume was nothing but the Malcolm X, like, stuff that they used to make? The dude rode on the top of a trash can lid and a sewer lid. Like, that was the other thing that I had a problem with. He didn't really have a super suit. Like, I think that they could have done a lot with this guy that they didn't. If your energy is kinetic, like kinetic energy, if your power is kinetic energy, there's a lot of shit you could do with that. Instead of a high school based superhero whose arch villain is who also got powers at the same time. Who's the bully was a white guy, and it's like, dude, like y'all know what y'all was doing. Like it just, I didn't. I'm tired of seeing like black superhero stuff that's based on like the struggle. I want more Spawn shit where it's just like the badass superhero and then the secondary thing is, oh yeah, and they're black. You know what I mean? I want the superhero part to stick out more than the obvious. You know what I mean? It's the same thing that's like Beast Wars, right? You got Optimus Primal, right? Like, really? Really? You had the opportunity to make a completely new leader. You named him Optimus Primal. And it's a different character, which is the thing that killed me. But in the movie, didn't they say he was named after Optimus Prime, which made a little bit more sense? So that kind of eased the blow a little bit. I don't hate Static Shock. I just think that the creators missed a good opportunity to have a badass superhero. You know what I mean? Like, and again, that's what happens a lot with superheroes that are of color, I guess you can say. Like the people are so hell-bent on inclusion or whatever the fuck you want to call it that you forget the part that people ever actually care about is superhero. Like people care about the hero part, not the other shit. You know what I mean? Like make it a cool hero, and then make the color of their skin and where they're from part of the backstory, because no one cares about that if the hero sucks. No one really gives a shit about the character if the hero part is garbage. You could have the most gruesome backstory, but you know, you're like the Baker Man. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck is gonna care about that guy? Like, the hero has to be dope and then everything else. It's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, if I were to create a modern day superhero, it would definitely, the last thing that I would worry about would be the color of their skin. But I also would create my villains first. I would not create my superheroes first. I would always create the villain first, because you don't need heroes without villains. And if you create a dope ass villain, you have to create a hero to rise to the occasion. And that hero needs to be connected to that villain in some way, shape, or form. And the easiest way to connect a hero to a villain is have the villain do something to affect the hero, to essentially turn that person into, like, Batman's backstory is basically like he's protecting Gotham because his parents were killed in Crime Alley in Gotham. All right, I get that. You know what I mean? Superman is just a fucking Boy Scout from Kansas who came to Earth and landed, you know, in America, and now he wants to protect America, but he's a Boy Scout. So Superman has all these powers, but Superman don't kill. You know, and it's like, all right, well, you got aliens that are gonna kill billions of people. You're gonna beat this dude to a bloody pulp, but then be like, now you go home now and you stop it. All right, you kill billions of people, but you stop it. Just stop it. And then, like, and they let them go, and then it's like they come back and do it again. And this is the repeat of every superhero, because if you kill off the villains, you have no story. You know what I mean? Which I get that, but damn, like, there's a certain point where people are gonna be like, hey, you know what I mean? There has to be a way to make a storyline where it doesn't get stale, or make the storyline so long that at the end of it you finally get the villain. Not you catch the villain after every whatever. You know what I mean? At least that's what I want. If I were to do something like that, it would definitely be aimed more toward the longevity of the hero. I would do something like an Inspector Gadget type thing where you know who Dr. Claw is, and Dr. Claw is arranging all of these series of attacks or whatever, but you never get to see Dr. Claw. But your whole entire story is about catching this motherfucker. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the series, you catch him. And plot twist, it's somebody in your family. And that's why you couldn't catch him. Or something like that. Like, if it were me, I would make Penny the villain. And then you would never see it coming. And it's like, that's why we could never catch Dr. Claw. Because it was Penny all along. And then you make him have a moment of weakness and he lets her go. Because that's his niece? Yeah, it's his niece. Which I can't believe that their parents let the daughter do crime solving with Uncle Gadget. But I think the parents died or something like that. I don't know what the story behind that was, but yeah. But see, that's what I also think about when I'm doing tattooing. When I think about drawing tattoos, I think about what the tattoo is going to do for the person. If you have an opportunity to do a badass tattoo on, like, I don't know, a famous person or like a hot chick or whatever, like, and you know you got a badass idea that would hit it out the park, you definitely have you owe it to the community to answer the call. You don't phone it in. And if you can't perform to your level or do the idea that you have in mind, you got to learn how to forfeit. You got to fight for the right to do something awesome. 'Cause sometimes people don't, you know what I mean? A lot of people ain't just going to sign up for excellence. You got to push them in that direction. Yeah, see, but that's the thing is, like, here's the thing with matching tattoos. First off, matching tattoos are dumb. All right? They're dumb. But people get them to be connected. But what I started doing was when people would ask for matching tattoos, I would try to sell them on joining tattoos. Meaning a tattoo that starts on you but finishes on them. So, you know, you ever seen them people like that have the tattoos where they look complete, they both have a complete tattoo, but when they join hands, it makes an entirely different piece? That is very artistic and it is very hard to pull off and it is very one of a kind. I put in maximum effort to learn how to think that way with a tattoo. So, you know, say you're a Batman fan, right? And the other person likes Batman too, but y'all want a tattoo together. One of you motherfuckers get Batman, the other one gets like Robin or somebody else, a Joker or whatever. But you have them doing stuff that looks separate, but when they join hands, it's one scene. Maybe that's just because I'm thinking about superheroes right now, but you can do that with any kind of art. where it can be two separate pieces of art that join to make one. But like that's the thing, it's taking an existing concept that doesn't necessarily hit the way it should and turn it into something that knocks itself out of the park. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that a lot of people don't really get when it comes to tattoos. It's like, dude, you get one opportunity to do something great and change people's perspective. And a lot of times people don't answer the call. Be it they're not skilled enough or they're not interested. Like a lot of people just want to make money. Which, I mean, I get that, you know what I mean? But for me, I'm like, if I get the opportunity to do something dope, I'm sacrificing whatever I gotta sacrifice to do it, because that's gonna bring you money from years to come. And a lot of people don't necessarily see that. A lot of people don't see the potential for future money. They only see right now money or right now business. And you go and you do something that's lackluster, and then you regret it because you're like, I could have hit this out of the park. You know what I mean? Like I told my boss at work, I'm like, my problem with me being a tattoo artist is I want bigger. I want better. So if you say I want a half sleeve, I'm trying to sell you on a full sleeve, which is obviously a business tactic in itself, but I'm trying to sell you on the full sleeve so I can have more room to do what I want to do, which is going to be like I have a friend that wants to continue her leg that we're working on, and she wants to add a few things to it. And I'm like, let's go all the way down your leg or all the way up your side. The only problem is she's older now. So pain tolerance is different when you're older. People can't sit the way they normally sit when they were younger. But the idea that I had was pretty dope. But I have to always consider, like, oh, wait a minute. I have to remember she's older. I can sign her up for whatever, but realistically, this is how you get in a situation where people can't finish their tattoos. And I have a lot of situations like that because my eyes see bigger. And sometimes you don't necessarily need to go bigger. Well, that's the thing, is that I get the whole representative of them and stuff like that, but 9 times out of 10, if they get something, there's really no way they're gonna keep it if the other person isn't there. They're gonna get it covered up. Even if you can get something that's kind of representative of them, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna want to come back and get it covered. But yeah, that would be the way to go. Like, just do something that's kind of like neutral. So, like, if something does go wrong, they don't have to worry about covering it up or whatnot. But that's going to be a hard sell. That's why I try not to attract customers that want to do shit like that. I try to avoid customers that do shit like that like the plague. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get them, but a lot of times if people come to me and be like, oh, I want my husband's name and this and that, like, it'll usually be like family and friends, and I'll just kind of pawn them off. Like, I won't really respond to them because I don't want to do the tattoo in the first place. But like, I haven't had a client in a shop ask me nothing like that forever because I don't do walk-ins. So I don't get the baby mama name or baby daddy name or infinity sign or all the shit we make jokes about. I don't get that kind of stuff anymore because I try to steer away from it with the stuff that I put out. Like, they know that what I put out is not that. And a lot of times when you put out artwork that looks expensive, people understand that, well, this guy is probably expensive, you know, and they won't come to you with the BS, you know. The safest is the name or the face of the other parent. That's not the safest. What if you and the parent don't end up together? The safest is just not to get shit like that. Like, just because just the other parent doesn't necessarily mean that that's the worst. That is the worst. The safest is not to get names or faces. That's the safest. Like, you get quotes that you guys share, stuff like that. Don't get names or faces. Just don't at all. Get original tattoos. I mean, the names and the faces and all that shit have been done a million times. People are going to do it anyways, but if you're going to do it, just, again, like, as a tattoo artist, I try to avoid it. I don't want to do it. That's what you do, or that's generally what you end up doing when you first start tattooing, and you try to move away from that because though it does make money, it doesn't bring you clients that are representative of your skill. And until you can show your skill base, you will never get into the level of money that you want to make as a tattoo artist. You would just keep attracting the same, client base. Well, you're a tattoo artist though. It's not, you know what I mean? You're a tattoo artist. No one can really say anything about what you get because you're the artist. You know what I mean? But you definitely can't say anything about people getting names if you got names. But you got your kids' names. You didn't get your kid's mom's name. You know what I mean? Like, people that get married and they get their wife's or husband's name, and it's like, I get it. Y'all are married and you love each other, but bro, really? You know, but like, I'm like, again, first thing you're starting tattooing, it's not about you. So it doesn't matter what I feel about what you get. I'm never going to say anything about it. If you ask me what I think, I'm going to throw it back on you and be like, well, what do you think? Because it's not my tattoo. You know what I mean? I'm going to be quick to be like, yeah, I mean, do you like it? Like, if you like it, that's all that matters. Because I'm not about to try to talk somebody out of something that I know that they probably shouldn't get, unless it's my children. If it's my daughter, of course, obviously, I'm going to be like, that shit is fucking stupid right off the bat. But you know. But I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't have anything to do with me. Like, when it comes to like shop shit, you know what I mean? Like, when I see somebody getting something bad, I just kind of like, under my breath or grit my teeth and be like, oh, this is going to be bad. But then I'm like, okay, well, where would you like it? Or if I really feel some type of way about it, I'd be like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be the one to do this tattoo. Let me refer you to somebody that might be more skilled at this. And you get people that won't allow that, and like, oh, well, such and such sent me to you and I would like you to do it. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not really my area of expertise. I'm more of this type of tattoo artist. You know, I don't really want to, you know, or I had a guy come in and he wanted his face tattooed. And I was like, yeah, you know, I don't think I'm gonna be the person to do this. And then he started giving me this whole spiel about his body and he can make his own choice. And I'm like, you are absolutely right. But I don't have to do the tattoo. I'm like, that's the whole point. Is like, I'm gonna send you to somebody that gives a shit about doing your tattoo so that they can give you a good tattoo that you like. I don't want to do that face tattoo. It was for several reasons, because I didn't want to touch the guy's face. I don't do face tattoos because I don't want to tattoo near anybody's face. There's too many things that could go wrong in that situation. Plus, the kid was young, and yeah. I know plenty of people that are now older that have a hard time living because of young mistakes that they thought would never affect their life. Because their favorite rapper or their homeboys or all of them are doing the same shit. Or some girl that they in love with, that they want to profess they love by doing some crazy shit and then find out that it didn't work out. Remember, that was one of the things that I used to fight with a lot when I started tattooing. Was I didn't like. I had got to this point where I didn't like coming into work because I was like, man, I don't fucking do no birds, and no tribal, and this and that. Like, I had a disdain for tattooing because of the shit that I was doing. And then the guy that owned the shop was basically like, well, one of the guys that owned the shop basically was like, look, dude, like, it ain't about you, right? And I already knew that. But then he was like, at the same time, you don't have to do what everybody else does. Just because somebody asks for a butterfly doesn't mean you have to go get the standard butterfly. Do your own shit. I'm pretty sure there's a way you would prefer to draw butterflies. Do that. And I don't know why, but that shit never dawned on me that I could draw what I wanted, as long as it was what they asked for. And then, like, at that moment, I loved tattooing again, because I was like, you know fucking what? I never thought of that. And I don't know why I never thought of the fact that I could just draw the butterfly or whatever the way that I wanted it, you know? And then that was when I started, like, that's when the birth of test sheets happened. Because it was at that moment I started drawing every day to try to get better at drawing things to perfect my own way of drawing them. Which is why you see, like, the test sheets of, let's see. Which is why I have, like, the dragon test sheets. Should I have, like, every kind of test sheet you can name for, like, things that I want to draw? If it's a tattoo and it's something that I really want to draw, I have a test sheet for it. And the reason why I have these is to remind myself, one, I don't have to draw like everybody else. And two, how I would like it to look as a tattoo. And this would shape what I would create as a tattoo. Because if you have a general idea of what it's going to look like, you can see the finished picture. So now someone will ask for a hummingbird, but you could be like, how about we do the hummingbird, but we have them eating out of a flower, or something symbolic that's easier to manage and come up with now that you have a visual, right? And that's kind of how I would do it. The same thing with octopus. I love drawing octopus tattoos so much that I stopped drawing them, because I was like, that's like my son. My son loves drawing. My son loves drawing skulls. And like when you love drawing something, you get caught in that bubble of this is what I want to draw. That was me and octopus. I used to love drawing octopus tattoos, like on the body. I've drawn so many huge body-size octopus tattoos so that I could do octopus tattoos that it was ridiculous. And the thing that I kept fucking forgetting was that these things are big, and people typically don't want the whole thing, which bums you out, because you want to do the whole thing, which means it's going to cover whatever. Like mine's on my arm covers my entire arm, my shoulder, and part of my back, so that I could get the full effect of a real octopus. Like you can cut it off, but like, you know what I mean? Like, but I used to study how to make these things look better and better and better and better. But it taught me a lot about practicing shit. It made me understand that if you practice more, you can develop your own way of doing it and not just doing it the way other people want you to do it. And that part changed something in me, because now I was like, I'm no longer going to just draw what people think I should draw. I'm going to draw what I think would work. And then if they want it, great. If not, I always was willing to draw what they wanted. There was never a situation where I was going to be like, well, if they don't want what I want them to draw, I'm not doing it. Nope. I always was prepared to do what they asked for. But I was also always thinking of something that I could do that was better. I don't know if I want this guy to have eyeballs. I think I want him to just be like that. But then, it doesn't look like he's looking at you. Do you prefer people that give you a concept like something symbolic like love, or something symbolic like death, and let them create what they want within the concept, or someone who tells you I want a heart exactly like, no, I want to be able to be creative. I want a person that just gives me a very vague description and then lets me like do concepts and see what we come up with. I don't like specifics. Specifics are very hard to work with. The reason why specifics are very hard to work with is because most people have no concept of how drawing or art works. All they can see is the visual in their head, meaning they want the Sistine Chapel on their forearm, and all they know is Kat Von D can do it in an hour. And then that's the problem, is that a lot of people don't understand that everybody has a skill set. Everybody has limits. Everybody has things that will work and that won't work. The idea of something, the idea or the concept of something that will or won't work is based on how much you want to pay and who you are getting to do it. You know what I mean? And like, people don't get that. And if you want the Sistine Chapel on your wrist, you should probably do research to find somebody that does the Sistine Chapel, or drawings like Renaissance type art. You know what I mean? But people don't do that. People do not take the time to invest in that kind of research, because the internet has taught them that everybody can do everything, or they're not a good tattoo artist or an artist in general, and that's not true. People believe that if you don't do photorealism, you're not a good artist, and it's like, photorealism is the easiest shit to do ever, as long as you know the concept of how to do it. And I used to think it was like, if you did photorealism, you had like God-like skill, and now I know different. There are some people that have God-like skill that choose to do photorealism, but the average tattoo artist that does photorealism can't draw. And tracing an already made image is easier than trying to draw one from scratch. Fucked me up when I realized that, because the owner of my shop did nothing but photorealism. And it wasn't until we lost internet one day that I realized that he couldn't draw, like, at all. And the people at the shop would tell me that, and I didn't believe it. But he was trying to get us to draw his tattoos for his clients because he couldn't draw them and we had no internet. And he had a bunch of tattoos that needed to be drawn, and the clients were coming. And we were like, "We ain't drawing your shit." Like, he was pissed. But it's like, bro, draw your own stuff. And he couldn't because he didn't know how to draw. And that was when I started believing what people were saying about 70% of tattoo artists couldn't draw. It's a facade. It's not a bad thing. It's not something that, like, it's not a requirement for you to know how to draw. It's a requirement for you to know how to trace. Well, the idea that the people get that idea that big means more money and small means less money. It's the same thing with tribal. I tell people, like, you ask for tribal, but don't you realize that tribal is one of the easiest and hardest things to do in tattooing? It is also one of the most simplest but expensive things in tattooing, because it'll take me X amount of time to put this tattoo on your body, but it will take me infinitely longer to darken it in. The blackening of the tribal is the hardest part, because solid black is hard to do. And they don't understand the concept of it, and you got to spend all this time trying to explain to them the concept of why it's that way. But you know what I mean? Do you want to waste the time explaining the concept? You know, like, that's kind of how that, you know. People can do photorealism from their imagination too? No, they can't. It's not photorealism if it's from their imagination. People like Kim Jong-gi have a photorealistic, like, memory, but there aren't that many people like that in tattooing. And photorealism is called photorealism because it is based on a photo. It is a realistic depiction of a photo. Photorealism. Realism is different from photorealism, because realism is just making something look real. Photorealism is like, basically reproducing a photo. That's why they say photorealism, because people they don't get the difference. And photorealism is literally just patience. How much patience do you have to one for one this photo? Now, yes, there are people out there that can literally draw beautiful things and make it look like it exists on this planet, because they understand how to make things look realistic. They know lighting, they know shading, all of that stuff. But photorealism is different. It's a different concept. And in tattooing, most people that do photorealism cannot draw. It is not. It is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. And it was unbelievable when I first, you know how people tell you shit and you're like, yeah, shut the fuck up, you're lying. Just like the person told me, like, yeah, 70% of tattoo artists couldn't draw. And I'm looking at this dude like, shut the fuck up. There's no way. There's no way all of these people cannot draw and tattooing isn't like a shit show. And it was true. You start doing your research and you start, like, asking around, and you start noticing that a lot of the artists that do a lot of the things that get like critical acclaim are things that don't require them to be an artist. But if you say you have somebody that's a really good photorealistic artist, right? And then they get a client, and the client wants them to put something simple, like a rose. They have to scramble to get another picture of a rose. They can't draw the rose because they don't know how to draw. You know what I mean? And it's like, or they want to take the realistic stuff and mix it with something that's not realistic. The tattoo artist typically will panic because now it's out of their wheelhouse because they don't know how to draw it and they got to find something to go along with the collage. That's simply what tattooing photorealism is. It's collage building, which is, it's not bad. People get really, really good at it. You know, but what tattoo artists know versus what clients know is incredible. Because a client will ask you, do you do photorealism? And you'd be like, no, and they look at you with disdain, like, eh. And that's the only reason why I learned photorealism, because I had a guy come into the shop and literally just like shit talk me. He was a guy that was well known in the shop and he wanted to get a tattoo done and everybody was busy and he was like, can he do it? And he was like, well, you can ask him. And he was like, do you know how to do photorealism? And I was like, no, I don't really like doing photorealism. Oh, well, then you must suck as a tattoo artist. Like, what tattoo artist doesn't do photorealism? Like, it's the best stuff in the world. And it was like sitting there talking shit to me about not knowing how to do photorealism. And that shit like stung. Cause I'm like, bro, I know how to draw circles around the majority of the people in this shop. But because I don't do photorealism, this motherfucker was like dogging me. So what it did was it forced me to learn photorealism. And then I learned photorealism and I did a shit ton of portraits and all of that stuff just so I could tell people like that I don't want to do it. So when they're like, oh, you probably can't, I could bust out my portfolio and show them what I could do. And then when they go to try to convince me to tattoo them, I could be like, I don't want to tattoo you, or I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I think photorealism is dumb. And then it makes them feel like shit because, yeah, you're really good at it, but you think it's dumb. Basically telling them that their tattoo idea is dumb because they're being an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a really dumb reason to learn something, but trust me, it feels fucking good. Now, of course, if I find somebody that if somebody ever came across me that wanted a photorealistic tattoo, I could do it. There's also that. It's a good business move, but if I could avoid it, I will. Like, I will, but most things in tattooing I know how to do. Just like American Traditional. I understand the importance of learning American Traditional as a tattoo artist. And I think everybody that learns tattooing should learn about American Traditional because what it represents as a tattoo artist. But once you learn about it, I think you should never do it again. And it's simply because it's primitive art. And art has moved a long way from there. And you can evolve on certain things. And it's time to move away from, well, as a new artist. You have artists that specialize in that. But as a new artist, it's time for you to start bringing new things to the table. Tattooing will never evolve if people just keep trying to redo the same shit. And people won't ever really realize what tattooing can be if all you do is just keep showing them what tattooing is. Same thing with art. Imagine where comic books and shit like that would be right now if everybody still drew like people drew in the 70s. If they didn't start mixing cultures and styles, where shit would still be right now. That's kind of how you have to look at it. Yeah. I got what you were saying, Shiny. I knew what you were saying. It just cracks me up that other people, like, the thing is people that don't know. I had to get into this place where people that didn't know art. I had to learn to not argue with people that didn't know art in my real life, because people that don't know art, they only go off of what they know, which means that what they see on TV and all that, they don't really know art. So realistically, when it comes down to them figuring out what they want as a tattoo, they're going to do what everybody else does. Straight to Pinterest. They're going to go straight to Pinterest. They're going to find their Pinterest tattoo, and then they're going to come to you and be like, can you do this? And they always come to you like this is the greatest idea in the world, and if you can't do it, you're not a good tattoo artist. And it's always some really simple shit. So, you know, I mean, like, of course, it's simple, so, like, whatever, yeah, I can do it. You know, but my idea is always to be like, all right, well, yes, I can do it, but how about I present you with something that would work a little better? You know what I mean? I see that you want this, and that's cool, but let me try to show you something better. You know, I will still do your design. I will still do your design, but let me entice you with something that might be a little better. And then if they want their design, we just go with their design, and it is what it is. You know. Well, because imitation is the greatest form of flattery. That's genuinely why. It's the same reason why beginning artists copy artists that they're a fan of, because it's the only thing that they know that they can use as a reference for what is good. At least that's what it was for me. I copied what I thought was good because I wanted to be that person. I wanted to do what that person did. And a lot of it was a lot of what I was doing. It had I felt like it had a purpose, right? I felt like what I was doing was the right thing, but it never seemed to feel like me. It always felt like I was copying somebody else. But that was the general idea, because I was copying somebody else. And I thought it was cool as long as I was getting likes and all that stuff and people were praising me and all that. But then once I met my idol and my idol gave me great advice, it changed my mind about a lot of stuff. It made me open my eyes to what I thought I needed to do as an artist. And it just changed my opinion about how I thought about art. Because in my mind, I was like, I don't give a shit if I'm copying this artist. If people love it, then shit, I'll just copy this artist and I'll be this artist and it's whatever. Like, because I loved Joe Madureira's work and I didn't give a shit if I was just doing his work. I'm like, dude, he's a great artist. I want to draw like him. And if people don't like it, fuck it. But then he was like, nobody wants to draw like anybody else. He's like, what you want is you want the respect that his art gets. And a part of me was like, yeah, fucking right. I know what the fuck I want. But the other part of me was like, you know what? He's right. I do want, and a part of me was like, I want people to like my artwork, but I want them to like the artwork that I made. Like, I want to be able to create artwork and people look at it the same way they look at his artwork. You know what I mean? I want to be able to think of a design and bring it to life and make it look as cool as his designs that I have basically been recreating and reproducing. You know, people that don't know this guy is looking at me like I'm some kind of a fucking hero and that I created this awesome thing, because they don't know that I was just copying some other artist's work. And it was like, it was cool to get that praise from people that didn't know. But I mean, of course, people that did know, is like, I want people that know and that don't know to feel the same way. You know what I mean? And that was when I started getting imposter syndrome, you know, where you start feeling like you're just a phony, you know. And I was like, man, I don't like that feeling. You know, I don't want to feel like a phony. You know what I mean? And I started wanting to get better at drawing, period. This is like when I was really young. And this is when I stopped wanting to do like fan art and stuff, you know, and I wanted to stop doing like tattoo stuff because I realized, or comic book stuff, because I realized I didn't like doing repetitive art. Granted, now that I'm older and things are different, like it's a different feeling. But back then I was like, I don't think I can sit up and just draw the same thing over and over and over. Now it's whatever, it's just drawing. It's just drawing. It doesn't really matter. The followaways command has been dead for I don't know how long. You have to click on your name to get your, I don't know how they do it if you're on mobile, but I know that you have to click on your name if you're on PC to see how long you've been following. Followaways does not work. But yeah, that was kind of like, that's kind of like my thing now is when I draw, I'm really big on trying to do original stuff. The only other reason why I'm really big on doing original stuff is because you get to a point where you forget how to do original shit if you never do it. And I run into a lot of people that want to do their own original stuff, and they're like, how do you draw original stuff, and how do you create a style? And it's like, if you don't train your brain, it's just like anything else. If you don't train your brain to do it, your brain isn't going to know how to do it. And a lot of people wait way into their career to want to start doing their own original stuff and leaving their own impression. And yeah, you know. But it's like, as long as I've been drawing and as long as I've been doing what I'm doing, to be honest, I stopped looking at it now, because now I'm not going off of how long I've been doing it. I'm going off of how much knowledge I have. And now my mentality is like, I should be able to draw this because I have very good knowledge of how to draw things like this. Why am I failing at drawing this thing? You know what I mean? Or say I want to draw, like I'm drawing the penguin. Say I'm drawing the penguin and I keep failing at what I want it to look like, and I'm erasing and going back and doing stuff. One, it's because I'm probably overthinking it. Two, it's because I'm going about it the wrong way, and I know I'm going about it the wrong way, and I'm not correcting myself, which is something that I typically used to do a lot. Now that's why I do a lot of like what I'm doing now, which is like test sheets and stuff. I do this because if I get to a point where I feel like it's not working, I just draw something else. You just bounce from one design to another, and you just keep going, because, you know, why sit here and make yourself draw something that you're not having fun drawing just because you started something and you need to complete it? Like, you can always complete it later. Like, stop and do something else. Art should be fun. And if your art's not fun, why are you doing it? It is literally the same with pretty much most anything. If you're not enjoying it, why are you still doing it? And I think a lot of people run into that problem when they start learning how to draw, because people will tell you, oh, you should do X amount of hours drawing realism and master realistic anatomy before you start doing like cartooning and stuff like that, which isn't true. You know, exaggerative anatomy is the same as anything else. You can do them both at the same time. You don't need to do one before you do the other. And I used to live by that. People used to tell me that shit, and I used to be like, well, I'm not good at drawing photorealism, but I hate drawing photorealism, and I hate drawing real anatomy, because real anatomy it has too many rules and it's constricting. And well, I was basically doing what everybody else was telling me to do. And it wasn't until I started doing what I felt like I knew I could do that I started getting better at doing art. You know, like now I have friends that I confide in when it comes to like things I'm stuck on, but for the most part, I don't ask people how to do stuff, especially not people I don't know, and I don't take advice from people that I don't know, because a lot of times people don't know what you're aiming for. They don't know what you're going at. They just know what they're looking at, and a lot of times it's like, if they've learned the Loomis way of drawing and you're not drawing it the way Loomis does it, they will reference what they learned from said artist. Just nothing wrong with that. It's just, if art was meant to be drawn the same, then why wouldn't we all go to a class to learn how to do it? The whole reason why we all draw different is because art is meant to be different. As soon as you understand that nothing that you do is really bad. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I draw bad. No, you don't. You draw like you. Just because you don't like the way you draw right now does not mean that it's bad. Just means that you need to perfect it to where you like it. But it's not bad. Because those ideas that you have will come back one day and they will be the ideas that will spark greater things. Like like right now I'm doing fucking redraws of the 100. And one of my drawings that I did that I never finished was the penguin, because I didn't really give a shit about the penguin. But the penguin is, what was happening was I was drawing a lot of superheroes, and I'm like, man, I feel like I'm stuck in this rut where all I'm doing is just drawing comic book superheroes, right? And I'm like, I need to have more in my wheelhouse than just superheroes, because I don't want to be the superhero guy. You know what I mean? And I was getting bummed out, and I remember I was drawing this character, and I stopped, and I was like, I'm gonna draw other stuff, and I just never came back to it. And that's what I used to do with a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the stuff that I'm redrawing now are things that I could have easily just drawn back then and then was done with it. But I make things, I tend to make things harder on myself with the way that I am with what I do. But because I have the knowledge that I have now, I don't have to think that much about what I'm doing. It comes very easily. I definitely didn't think I would ever be at the point in my career where I would be helping people know how to draw. It's definitely over too far. Like, I never thought that I would ever be, I never thought I would ever have people ask me how I do stuff and why I do it and stuff like that. I never thought people would actually care about it. I always thought that it would just be one of them things where it's like, I like drawing, I draw, I'm going to draw with a bunch of people that I know, and, it'll be like a hobby. It'll be a thing I do when I'm not doing anything else, and I might get relatively decent enough to draw some things that I think is cool. I have definitely surpassed that. I definitely learn a lot quicker too. I also have stopped worrying about things like whether or not you use reference, which is something that a lot of beginning artists do. What other artists or what other people think about what I do. Because if you're doing art and you're having fun, that's all that matters. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of people will think badly of you just because they can't do what you do. You get a lot of negative stuff from people that feel like they're not. A lot of people have, what do they call it? Main character syndrome. and they don't understand that they're not the protagonist in your story. You know what I mean? And they will see you doing something and people will be loving it, and it drives them crazy that someone is loving something that they don't love. And as a good artist, you will experience this. This is a sign of you becoming a good artist, is you will develop haters for no apparent reason, and you have to learn how to take it in stride. You will also develop, you will also start attracting people that want to, quote unquote, help you when you don't want help, because they feel like they, or this one. And I genuinely mean this in the nicest possible way, because you will always meet those people that will try to do this, and everybody runs into it. It's people that will think they know what you should do better than you do. Meaning, you will have people that will tell you you should do comics, you should do whatever, because they can't do it, but they think that you would be excellent at doing it. And then when you don't like it, or you're not interested in it, it'll upset them. And they'll call you lazy and whatever it is to try to get you to try it. Not sure if this method actually works or whatever, but I've seen a lot of people try that. I had a guy that would come in my channel and ask me if have you started doing comic books yet? And I'm like, no. Oh, you're still being lazy, huh? And it's like, the concept of somebody not listening to someone, and I've been guilty of this, it tends to, I don't know, I guess it tends to bother him, because it's the same thing with me and my son, and me telling him, I think you should do this. Like, not what he should do with his career, but like as far as like what he's drawn, I really want him to be original, where, you know, he just wants to, I think he literally just wants to draw, you know. And as a parent, I think I want to see him do great so I can cheer him on. And because he isn't responding in a timely fashion, I get, like most parents, I get angry. But he's a grown-up, so it's like there's not really much that I could do. So, you know, I talk my shit or whatever. But I remember when I was younger, I never really had friends to encourage me to do stuff. So when I finally got friends that actually like were there in my journey, it helped me a lot, like a lot, you know. And I don't think I would be even close to being as good as an artist I am if I didn't find Twitch. Because when I found Twitch, I found artists and I found an art community, which sounds really cheesy, but I didn't have art friends. Even when I was doing tattooing, I had friends that liked tattoos. I had friends that did tattoos, but they weren't artists. They just did tattoos, you know. They weren't passionate about it. A couple of my art friends were graffiti artists, and they didn't really, you know what I mean? They didn't care about what I cared about in art. But when I found Twitch, I found people that actually gave a shit about what I gave a shit about, because there were so many different people doing so many different things. It was almost impossible to not find somebody, you know. Well, yeah, because that person probably, again, it's you have to look at who that person is, and if you call that person friend, are they really friend? And if they're not a friend, well, then obviously you know what it is. And it's funny when they go out of their way and they're like, no, see, the acoustics are off, and the real song sounds like this, and you know, just everything in their power to make people look at it and be like, oh yeah, you know what, you might be right, like, because something in them likes to ruin other people's day. You know what I mean? It's the same thing as like, okay, you have social media, right? You post your art on social media. and someone comes in to your whatever and commences to tell you why what you did is it doesn't look right, or hey, the guy that's like, hey, would you like some advice? And you're like, no. And they're like, oh, well, I was just going to tell you. It's like, damn, why did you even ask? You know what I mean? Like, and they commence to tell you their advice, you know, like, but again, that's just art. That's art. That's art in general. People are going to do that forever. And as much as you try to, what you got to do is you got to let that shit roll off your back. That's the part about art that people aren't. When they tell you to have thick skin, that's kind of what it means. Is like people are going to say shit. You just smile and wave and continue doing what you were doing. If someone says you should do this, you'll be like, you know what, dude? You're fucking right. I should do that. And then just continue doing what you normally would do. And pay them no mind. Because at the end of the day, when you get at the end of your journey, the last thing you want to do is do like me and have wasted years listening to the wrong people when the right people were telling you what to do and you weren't listening. It will happen, and you may be good enough to catch it, and you may waste time. But just if you're one of those people that do waste time, don't feel like you can't catch up. Like, I always kick myself because now for the rest of my life, I'm going to be looking at it like, damn, I'm way better than I used to be. But how much better would I have been if I would have started back then? You don't know, because that may not, if you would have listened, that may have caused a series of events that may have caused you to not even be an artist or be less of an artist than you are now. You just don't know. Again, and it took art friends to kind of explain that to me, because I was bummed out for a while about when I started getting better at digital. I was bummed out that I didn't do a lot of shit earlier that would have led to that. But I'm like, a part of the digital thing was just me being so afraid to try something new. Because I did that with, I spent so many years trying to get good at drawing that I was like, I'm great at drawing. I don't want to be bad at something again. But now, in hindsight, I'm like, I wasn't that great at drawing. I just thought I was. I'm way better at drawing now. But now I'm humble enough to understand that I'm better than I was, but this is not my peak. I could be even better. And this is kind of where I'm at. That's where you got to get to a point where you got to be like, yes, this is good, but I could be better. But now I have a reason to be better. It's not just, hey, be better so that you can show people that you're good, because I don't care about that. I'm getting better to represent the people that give a shit about what I did or what I do. Like my friend Zelda Queen, I'm going to draw her a Zelda piece. I drew a sick one and I love it, but I can always be better. And it would make me feel good to do something even better, present it to her, because she has a Zelda sleeve on her arm that we're working on. It would be dope to give her the dope-ass Zelda sleeve and a dope-ass piece of Zelda art on her wall so that people will always see that and she can treasure it. And I am at the point in my life where I feel like I have the skill set to pull it off. Where before, I didn't think so. Same thing with tattooing. I feel like now I'm at a point where tattooing is not a struggle at all in the slightest. Like anything I want to do in tattooing, I either can do it or I know the means to go about learning what I need to learn so that I can do it. which is huge because it takes a long time to get that comfort level. And when you get to that level of comfort, it's time to show people. I don't know if I want to put his cigarette, his fancy cigarette that he always has. It's a trademark of his. But he usually has it in his hand. And they were like, "Can I give you some advice?" The same message. Well, that's the thing. That's the reason why I'm not learning 3D modeling on stream. Because that would happen over and over and over again. I may want to just sit up and practice and do it with the intentions of just like what I'm doing right now. And you will get hundreds of people coming in and out of the channel that would be like, "Can I give you some advice?" And the advice, the thing is the advice would be good. It's not like the advice would be bad. It's just the advice wouldn't help me because of where my understanding of what I'm doing is. And that's the thing that I try to explain to people is like, you have to understand where a person's mindset is. You know what I mean? Like my mindset might not be, I might not have the advanced knowledge of what I'm doing to be able to pull off what you're telling me. Give me a little bit of time. That's why I like Too Senseless, because Too Senseless will give me a little bit of information, wait until I understand it, and then go over it with me again to make sure I understand it. Who has that level of patience with somebody? And they don't even have to do it. She doesn't have to give two fucks about whether or not I'm good at what I'm doing or whatever, but like she'll tell me something and then like have the patience to wait until I get it, to basically go over it with me again and then go to the next step. That's why like I have friends that I look to for advice. That's those types of friends. Hey Yokai, how are you? It's always good to have friends you can ask for advice about stuff. That way you can tell everybody else like, look, I appreciate it, but I don't need your advice. I have people I will ask. I did have somebody get mad at me about that too. Someone got upset because they felt like I only asked popular people for help and I didn't ask them. And I had to hurt their person's feelings by telling that person, it's not that I'm asking the popular people and not you. It's that you can't help me. Your skill set is not where my skill set is. And these people's skill set is higher than mine. Like in a nutshell, it's like, I would love to ask you for help if you could help me, but you can't. And I don't want to be rude and I definitely don't want to waste time taking help from you that I don't want to make you feel good. You know what I mean? But the person like was literally like upset, like, hey, I heard you were having struggles with hands and I could have showed you how to do it. And you only take advice. And I was like, what the fuck? But then I you know what I'm saying, like, again, I'm pretty sure it was coming from a good place. It just came off, you know, you get it. It was kind of one of them situations where it's like, what the fuck? Like, what? Come on, dude. That's why I don't offer help. I am very well known for just putting things out there. I call it breadcrumbs. I leave it where if you want it, you can find it. But I don't try to make you take it. If my son, like my son, for example, and this is, of course, he's the one that this all came from. He will draw something. I will hate what he drew. But I will not tell him I hate what he drew. I will draw my version of it and just strategically leave it somewhere where he can see it. And whether or not he uses it for a reference or whatever later on is on him. Or he can completely ignore it. You know, but that is my way of being like, all right, well, okay. Like, all right, you did that thing, and this is my thing. Like skulls. He loves drawing skulls. But his skull anatomy needs a little work. You know, but if he loves it, what can I say? Like, it's what he does. But I show him how I draw skulls, but I know that that he's watching because his skulls are slowly changing more to look like what mine's look like, you know, or to have more feeling. I don't want him to draw my skulls. I want him to understand how to push his thought process and not have it so watery, like watered down. You can think bigger than what you're thinking. You know, like me drawing Link, for example. Me drawing Link, for example. I could have literally just drawn Link because I literally just drew this part right here. I drew Link. And I said, fuck, this is dope. I love it. But a part of me was like, I could draw Link, take the sketch, throw it on a piece of canvas by itself and call it a day. Or I could draw Navi, and I drew Navi. Now, Navi is not in Link to the Past, but Navi is iconic in Legend of Zelda, and I was like, whatever, if anybody don't like it, fucking bite me. I want Navi in it. So I drew Navi. But then I was like, wait a minute. What if I draw him like with Ganon in the background? So then I drew Ganon. I drew the entire Ganon, right? Which was bigger than this because it didn't go all, like I drew the entire body of Ganon. Like his whole entire body, him standing and everything. And then I was like, wait a minute. What if I draw Link with his back turned and Ganon and a whole bunch of creatures like surrounding him? As if he's fighting his way through all of them. You know, this is the idea developing. And then I realized I didn't know what a lot of the characters in Legend of Zelda look like. Link to the Past. So I had to go back and research, and I just took characters that I thought would fit, you know, and then I just kind of scribbled in a concept, and then I drew it in, and then whatever, you got what you got. Which actually turned out to be great. Now I don't want to color it. Because there's a lot of shit that I want in the colored part that I can't see myself spending a lot of time doing, you know. You know, and that's kind of what my idea building is coming to now. You know, and it started with the Ninja Turtles that I did. Because I didn't really, up until just recently, I never really did like full scenes. But I'm starting to do more full scenes and more full characters in scenes. Like this is just a canvas of drawings, but I'm starting to do more scenes with more characters in it to try to pull out more of what I can get from one piece of like one sketch. And now that I look at the sketches, I'm just like, God damn, like I can't go back now. All of my sketches have to be on that level, which now sucks because now I've raised the bar, and if I'm not doing at that level, I don't really feel like drawing. If I'm not working on something that's going to be at that level, what's the point? But I also do my daily sketches, which is what this is. So I don't necessarily have to worry about doing full drawings when I'm doing my daily sketches. So that I can still be passionate about drawing, because I'm like, these don't have to be finished. They don't have to be beautiful. I just have to work on them. And then once I'm bored or I'm done working on them, I can move on to something else. And for the most part, it's been working out great. But now I have 3D modeling. And let me tell you, if this shit if I haven't really put my foot into the iPad version yet, but if I start working on my model for Adorable Nightmares, because I have one of the models I want to do to practice, and if that model goes off without a hitch and it looks really good, oh, it's a wrap. I am going to become the 3D model guy, because I could spend hours and hours and hours and months and days on a single model, because models, it's easier to market a 3D model, especially now that everybody can get 3D printers, than it is to try to sell a drawing, I guess you could say. Like artwork, unless you evolve your artwork is always going to be a struggle to get rid of. And I have an idea for the evolution of my artwork, but in the meanwhile, I have something that I can sink my teeth into that will keep me hungry. That's why I don't think I will ever quit tattooing. The tattooing will fund whatever ridiculousness I want to do in art. I don't think me doing just art will sustain my way of living. Even though I don't live beyond my means. Actually, the way I live is very comfortable and very meek, like very humble. Very classy, very demure. Like I live a very low key life. But my art stuff, like my art supplies and things like that, is very advanced. Like my setup is advanced, all that, but like my house is very simple. It doesn't have a lot in it. You know what I mean? Like, we're computer nerds. We play video games, and our setups represent who we are. Everything else is just like, meh, it's there. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. See, now this feels more like the penguin to me. This feels more penguin-y to me. So I am still doing the 24-hour, like 7-day a week art channel. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do it because I work, and in the event that the channel goes down while I'm gone, I have to have it restarted. You know what I mean? Like every 48 hours? Every 48 hours, Twitch automatically kicks the channel offline. You know, but I want it to be like a 24. I just want it to be a constant channel of my past art streams, including the ones that I do like recently. I will add them to the queue list so that people that just want to have like art streams to watch in the background can do so. And it will also have time-lapse videos of past art like this, stuff like that. Things like that. But it's just something to keep I don't want my older content to be dead. But I also only took the stuff that I did from right around when I started doing the book, and maybe a little bit earlier than that. But right around when I started liking what my streams looked like, and it felt more like the stream that I wanted. You know, like it feels more like a presentation, and it feels more like something that I could sit up and watch. Like I find myself watching my old streams and being able to sit and watch them, where before I couldn't do that. I would be like, God, I can't stand this, I can't stand that. And it would be something I had to fix. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with these sketches. They may not become anything. They may become something, but you know, whatever. I know the penguin, it's kind of relevant right now with the new show, but the new penguin does not look like this, and I refuse to draw the old one, I refuse to draw the new one, just simply because I don't want to draw it. It's no, you know, not the cartoon one. The cartoon one, I'm just not. I don't care for a tall penguin. Even if it is a girl, it should be short. It's like penguin should be short, like a penguin. But to each their own. They did capture the essence of the old TV show for the new age, but I don't want the characters to be changed that drastic. A tall penguin just feels weird to me. Should have called him like the giraffe. It's like the Riddler that tells jokes. You know what I mean? It's like, your name is the Riddler. Like, you want riddles, don't want jokes. Not that he does that. I'm just saying, like, but that's kind of how a tall penguin feels. I feel kind of betrayed in that aspect. I was gonna ask, what were you gonna do with Adorable Nightmares project, since I made you that model a long time ago, and I haven't seen you talk about it since. It's because I want to use that to learn how to do 3D modeling. The stand that you made me, I have a use for that. Like, I actually know exactly what I'm gonna do with that. Which is why I had that made and haven't really done anything else, because I really don't know if I'm going to be able to pull off what I want to do with it. But what I want to do with it that stand is like a key part of it. Actually, it is like the main part of it. The rest of the stuff is should be, in theory, easy to do, but I need the problem is I need certain things done, and it has to be done by other people. And whenever you got to depend on other people, well, you know how that shit goes. But yeah, no, I think I currently have 36 models or 36 designs. I have a few more that I want to sketch out. But as far as the full speed ahead, like this is what I'm working on right now thing, I need all 50 of the characters to be designed before I basically, like, it's just like the book. If I'm going to do it, I need to be able to go all in. You know, like I have to be able to, like, I don't necessarily know how to explain it, but I have everybody knows I have the original 10. These are the ones that I'm going to use to learn how to do 3D modeling. The original 10. For those of you guys that have never seen this is Adorable Nightmares. It is a concept that I am working on, which is basically going to be, instead of doing like stickers and stuff like that, prints, I want to do 3D models. I do have one model, but Shining did a stand for these. I have an idea of what I want to do with this that will be different from what people would expect. But I wanted to do 50, because if I did 50 designs, that means that I was serious about what I'm doing and I'm ready to go full steam ahead. This is series 2. Each series is going to consist of 10 like concept designs for each character. And they're going to be 3D models. Remember this, they're going to be 3D models. And I wanted to get all 50 designed beforehand. And right now, I am on series 4. And I need 4 more for this, and then I need series 5, and then I can actually start working on it. Then I will color them all like I colored these and have all that stuff ready. I have box art done, or concept for box art. Like, this is like the inside. This is what the little inside pamphlets were going to look like. It was going to basically like have this. It was going to have a little backstory for each character. You know. Like, just a whole bunch of. I have the whole concept worked out. I have box art. Like a concept for box art, which of course a lot of this is going to change, but I had it all worked out. But I have to make sure that I'm committed, and I need all 50 done before I am like fully committed. But I got the key element, which is the program. So now that I'm learning 3D modeling, I can actually put my foot into it. Some of the characters you show can't be printed. No, they can't be. But that's not a problem. Some of the characters that I showed, the way that I showed them, they can't be printed. But those aren't going to be the printable characters if I do printed characters. That's the thing. It's like the concept is for 3D models, but I never said printed characters. I said 3D models. The concept of them being printed is still in the air. Let's just say the characters will be printable. But, we will all find out more about the project when I actually start working on it and I'm ready to go. Because I'm still I'm still kind of fighting with what I want to do with it. I have an actual solid idea of what I want to do. But that solid idea is being held up by, well, other people. And if I can't get other people to do the thing that I need to do, then I have to make the idea more usable. Which means I'm going to have to do something different. But I have a backup plan. But yeah. Have I tried printing the iinnky I did? I haven't even seen the iinnky you did. Or did I? I don't remember. Nope, but I haven't tried printing anything. I don't have a 3D printer. I can't print it without a 3D printer. I was going to have my boss print it, but I know that when you 3D print something, you have to set it up to where it has, like, I don't know, what do they call it, stands or whatever. I don't know how the whole thing works, but he is always talking about how, like, it doesn't have, like, the stands right, and then when it prints, it'll break down or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. But no, I haven't 3D printed anything. But yeah, drawing a printable model is the easy part. Like, it doesn't, that's the beautiful thing about having a concept. You can have a concept, but that concept doesn't have to be what is the final product. All of those characters are just the profile view of the character. I generally thought about making more action pose type things, like having them in action. But again, it's all in the air because I haven't been working on it. Once I actually start working on it, the concept will come together. But I have to be very sure that I'm willing to put in the time to do this. And the only way I can be sure is if I know I can use the damn program. Because I don't, even though I want other people, I want to try to, like, commission people to do the designs, I want to be able to do it myself if these people fall through, because that's the problem that I'm having with a lot of the stuff that I do is people don't like money. And trying to get people to do things for money, for some reason, it just don't work right. I don't remember. I'm sure you're right. If you did it, I have it somewhere. But that's just how long it's been since I've thought about it. I don't remember. But no, I know that I did not have it printed. I want a printable one for my drawing table. I don't care if I ever sell any of them, but I definitely want to make one good enough to print and put on my drawing table because it will motivate me to want to be a 3D artist if I have something there to look at every day to remember. That's why I draw so much, is because I'm surrounded by better way to just to show it. So everybody is familiar with Maroon. Hold on, let me fucking... I said I wasn't going to be on camera today, but I'm always lying. That wasn't what I wanted to do. So, the walls behind me, I look at these all day and they make me want to draw. And every single time I do another piece of art or I get another piece of art and I put it on the wall and I'm looking at that piece of art, it makes me want to draw more. Same concept will happen when I do 3D model. once I actually have a 3D model, I will see that 3D model and it will make me want to, I don't know, add more 3D models. I mean, like, that's the general idea, is I want to have enough shit around to make me get my ass up and do it, you know. I don't think I lost the file. I think I still have it. I just don't. It's got to be where all my other 3D stuff is. I know I didn't lose it. I know I have it. But yeah, I haven't done anything with it. But that's why I started putting art on my wall. It used to be everybody else's art. This wall over here is, or was, all everybody else's art. Half of it is other people's art. The other half is my art, because I started doing way better art that I actually liked, and I keep putting it on the walls, you know, except for this piece right here. This is what I aspire to be with my art. This is Joe Madureira. Like, this is my idol. It's always been my idol. All of my artwork is aiming toward being as good or not better than this guy, and I want to do pieces that big. If I'm going to do prints, that's the goal. Not this one piece spread, 3, 4, 5 panels that make up a piece. That is the goal, to do art so big that it's not just, you know, like, I would love to do pieces to where people can collect them, you know what I mean? Like, each panel stands alone, but with all of them together, it is a giant tapestry, because that takes a level of dedication. Like, I have my Spider-Man piece, for example. That half could be Spider-Man swinging from like a building collapsing or whatever, right? But the other half could be like, I could have the back half be like villains chasing him, and the front half being like some other shit happening. The same thing with the Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles could be the centerpiece, and then it could expand into other parts. But the whole point is, everything that I draw, I'm thinking of bigger. Like, at first it was quality, but now it's not quality, it's quantity mixed with quality. So it's like good, big, good, big, good, big. And that's kind of how I'm expanding my drawing. It's like, get really good and then do bigger, and then get really good at doing that and then get bigger, to the point where, you know, because let's just be honest with each other. Like, prints are a dying art form. You know what I mean? Like, they're just, a lot of people don't want prints. You can't sell prints the way you used to, so you end up making 50 prints and selling one of each 50. You know what I mean? Where if you don't expand and you don't do something to engage people more into your art, or bring technology into your art or something like that, it's going to be a lot of time you waste. It doesn't matter how good you are. People just don't want to spend money on paper and put it on their wall unless it's the original. People will buy the originals all day long, but a copy is just not as, especially if you post it on social media, which is why a lot of the shit that I do now, it's either in my Patreon or it's just not seen. I've drawn a lot of stuff that you guys haven't seen, because when I do a book, I don't want people to see everything that's in the fucking book. One thing that annoys me the most is when I get a book and it's just the shit that's on their social media page. Ooh, this book right here. I love this artist. I don't know if you guys can see that. You definitely can't see it. But the guy is named Nine Monkeys. And I guess he does a sketchbook every year. The dude's artwork is, as far as sketching goes, it is master level. And it is definitely a style of its own. But 99.9% of the stuff that's in this book is on his social media page. There's nothing new. And it's like that with most of the artists that I get. It's like, I'm buying it because I'm supporting the artist. But for people that, how do you say it? I'm buying this because I'm supporting the artist, but it would make me more eager to buy it if it was all new, unseen shit. You know what I mean? Imagine me doing a bunch of sketches, but all the colored ones were in there. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, I got this, right? Which is the Ultimates collection, right? And I bought the entire saga as a book because I have all the single copies and all that, right? But then I went and bought the sketch version. And I bought it because I wanted to get the sketch version. It made me want it more because it wasn't what I already saw. I had this in single books. So I bought this because I can go tear through this and put my fingers all on it and ruin it because this is my readable version. But then I went and got the black and white sketch version, and that felt like a piece of art to me because now I get to appreciate the black and white sketch version, right? That's why when I made Friends Don't Make Friends Draw Waifus, I put hundreds of drawings in there that no one ever seen. Because what's the point of having a book with a bunch of drawings that everybody saw? Yeah, people are gonna buy it, but what if the people that were buying it to support you were buying it to see things that were new and original? So it's the same thing with like the book I'm working on now, the books that I'm working on now, because there are several concepts I have for books, all of which are going to drop whenever they drop. Not going to rush any of them, but the fan art book has to have art in it that no one's ever seen. Otherwise, why get it? Everything's on social media. If you really want to see it, Patreon. ! Patreon. The artwork will be in there, but no one outside of my patrons will see it, and then those patrons won't see the finished art. They will see the black and white sketch version. The colored art, you may see one or two pieces, but you will not see all the finished colored art that will be in the book and or any other practice art and stuff like that, because when the book drops, I want you to be surprised about it. Even though the people in Patreon will get it for free, I still want you to be excited by looking at it. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel about doing art shit like that. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about doing art stuff. You know what I mean? I want people to be wowed by it the first time. Like, oh man, it's like I'm seeing it for the first time because, you know, I didn't see all of this, you know. But yeah, like, you know, that's what all this stuff and everything else is. Like, I sketch constantly. All of these, something like this one is a reject. This is a reject. This is a reject. This is a reject. I want to draw better ones. But a lot of these may make me draw something better. You know what I mean? I don't want people to look and be like, "Oh, I saw that on this is a reject." You know what I mean? Like, I want to have these concepts in the book, but I want to have these ideas in the book, but not these poses. I come up with a better pose, and then I'm like, all right, I'll put it on a separate page, I'll finish it, and then I'll put it in the section where the book art goes so I can put it together later. You know, like, people will see this, but they don't see the other version that I drew that can potentially be better. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Like, that's what I want to do. Like, this is cool, but the other poses or whatever I drew could easily be better. You know what I mean? Poses are poses. You always come up with better poses while you're doing stuff. You know what I mean? Like, these are just simple poses. These are simple action versions of whatever it is that character represents. You know? And if you do decide you want to finish it, then you can detail it or whatever and add extra shit to it. Or even more so, instead of trying to squeeze each one of these into one separate piece of art, join them all together and make it a like a collage or like a poster size image, you know, like who wouldn't like to see all the villains in one giant, like all the main villains in one giant picture, you know, shit like that. Something that makes you actually give a fuck about what, you know, you're drawing or whatever. I'm also redesigning my original characters. So what I mean by redesigning my original characters is I have a concept book that any of you guys that have been around already know about. It's called Creative Adventures, and the inky character that Shining is talking about is based on this character, which is my OC. I have lots of OCs, but this is the OC. Completely different from the shit that I draw, because this is what I like drawing, and the other stuff is what other people want me to draw. But this is based on the 3D model is what that Shining did is based on this. But this is a redesign of the original character. Like all the other designs that I'm doing for these characters, they're all redesigns. Like this is the original design for my son's character, which was a gator, and I didn't like it. I thought it looked too serious, and I didn't think it went along with what the theme of the comic was, so I redrew it. And this is the redraw. This goes with the theme of the comic. This doesn't. This is what he liked for his stream, but I feel like this is more of a marketable character, and this fits more of what he looks like. You know, same concept, except for it just fits more than this. You know what I mean? I have a lot of characters that are in need of an update, but the only characters that I really want to do right now are the main characters, which is my character and my children's characters and a couple of my friends' characters that I have. Did you guys see the new thing that they have for Twitch where you can collab with people on the fly, which is really weird, but it's cool, where you can basically now knock on a person's stream and then collab, and they finally did what I called chaos mode, which is basically taking everybody's chat and merging it into one so that you don't have to look at several different chat rooms, you just look at one. So this is the cover for the comic. The other side's gonna have all the characters in a giant collage, like chasing them. I might make them smaller so I can add more characters, but it's just gonna be a shit ton of characters chasing after them, and it's gonna be characters from the Creative Adventures universe, which I have a lot of them. And it'll be the book will consist of comic strips, little comic strips from each universe. You know, it won't be like, it'll just be like little snippets of each character and like each character's like concept of their world or whatever, like what their story is about. They all exist in this universe, kind of like Warner Brothers. How Warner Brothers has like all these different characters, but they're all in the same universe, like that. You know, I want to do that as a book where I have like Inky and Pinky on an adventure, and then have Canna Whoop Ass and like my kid, like the rest of the like kids characters and stuff like that, all interacting, and you know, just kind of showing what each one is like in a book, not to mention concept art, stuff like that, to see how the characters resonate with people. And then if people like them, I will pick which one that people like the most, and I will actually do a comic strip type thing on Webtoons. But that's later shit. That is later shit. more than likely I'll be streaming tomorrow. I just wanted to stretch my legs and draw some quick stuff. Tomorrow, I'll probably be on, but if I'm on, I'll probably be playing games. But I am definitely gonna be playing Zelda Echoes. What is it? Echoes of Wisdom or whatever. Like I said, I do a lot of this art off stream. If this first time you've been here when I do art, you want to follow the channel, make sure you do so. If you have a gifted sub, if you have a Twitch Prime and you haven't used your gifted sub, please consider gifting it, to the channel to help support the book and the 3D modeling journey and all that stuff and things that are to come. You can also follow me on all my social medias at ! Social. Also, you can join the Discord if you'd like at ! Discord in the chat. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. I am done stretching my legs. Now I must go and actually draw some shit. And again, I don't want everything I draw to be seen on stream. So that whenever the book does drop, you guys can have something that will make you excited. So I just wanted to draw quick concepts before I actually start really digging in and doing the serious work. But thank you guys for joining me. I had fun. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Preferably, I will be playing video games. But yeah, thanks for being here. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, life is a canvas. All you need is ink. See you guys next time.